this video, we'll be discussing the layer panel. Okay, we're talking about the layer mask and the various ways you can actually customize your layer panel. Now, the layer panel is probably one of the most important panels in Adobe Photoshop. It helps you to arrange your files and everything you're working on, the elements you're working on, in a very well organized fashion on different layers without necessarily mixing up or destroying whatever layer you've created previously. Okay, well, looking at this very image that is opened right now, looking at the layer panel, you see that there's a lock key. It shows that this layer is locked and it means you can't move it. When you try to move, he said the currently selected layer is a background layer. You cannot move a background layer or change it. However, if you intend to move it, you can either convert to normal layer by just simply clicking this, okay, or okay, that's one way for you to convert it so you can make it editable. But if you don't intend to use that way, you can also do something else. You can come here and double click, and when you double click, it changes it to a new free layer that is now movable and also editable. You can choose to erase by simply clicking on your eraser tool, and you can now easily erase, and transform it in any way you want to. Okay, let's undo that and go back. Now it is locked. Another way you can of course create a new layer from this background is clicking the lock icon and dragging it to the delete, and of course it is unlocked. You see the lock, the key button is already gone, the key icon is gone. You can also do differently. Let's undo that. You can also unlock that layer by going to layer, new layer from background, and when you do that, you give it a name, click OK, it's changed. Okay, and what if you did this and you intend to return it back to the background? You can also do that by coming to layer, new background from layer. When you do that, it changes it back to background layer. So that is the very first thing. Of course, looking at the layer panel, you see this little tiny icon here, the eye. You can use it to toggle the visibility of your layer. When you uncheck this, of course, when you have to unlock that, when you uncheck it, it hides, and you check it up, it reveals. Okay, so let's go back. So let's say you have multiple images open, and you intend to, we have another image here, and you intend to bring that image layer on this. All you need to do is select your move tool, you click over it and drag, and you come here and drop. You can actually use the shift button. If you hold down your shift key, it's going to drop it at the center for you. Okay, and you remember we use our move tool to scale, so we can try to scale it and see different scale. So let's assume we intend to reveal the mounting, so we intend to join these two layers together, these two images together. If you intend to work destructively, all you need to do is to erase this part, okay, and you can reveal this the mountings right behind. So let's use the eraser tool and see what it looks like. Now you can see we have successfully revealed that layer below, but the disadvantage of using the eraser tool is, for example, I don't want this place, okay, I don't want this place to be erased, so I cannot undo this. I'll have to start all over again. However, if you intend to do it in the right way, in a non-destructive way, it brings us to one important part of the newer Photoshop versions, which is the layer mask. So all you need to do is to add layer mask. When you click on this, you add a layer mask. It adds a new extra layer mask here, and when you are on this layer mask, you see it's white. Okay, that's the thumbnail for the layer mask. Now you just select your brush tool, and you can still achieve the same thing you intend to achieve. You change different brush, but let's use a softer brush, and since it's white, you change your foreground to black, and you paint over it. And when you do that, you are not necessarily erasing, you are only hiding. Okay, and when you change it to white, white reveals, okay, while black conceals. So you see we've successfully merged these two images without necessarily destroying the original layer. Okay, and you can hide and reveal with the I button. Okay, and then the other thing we can also do with the layer panel is to check on the opacity. We can either reduce the opacity or make it more and more. Okay, and then the blend modes, you can use the blend mode to check different, perspective to it, and that's it. So you can just play around with all of this. And so let's say, for example, we intend to add a text on this. So we just click and type whatever we intend to type. And so we can modify our text. You remember we've done all of this. So let's assume you intend to type this, digifills.com, and maybe let's say that is what you intend to type. You can modify your colors, maybe choose a color that is going to be suitable, and okay, let's go with white, just leave it that way. Okay, so let's assume that is what you intend to do. You can, of course, sort your different layers. Let's assume also we need a shape. We need a shape here. Let's create one shape. Okay, and that's a shape right there. Okay, now the last thing you can do that I would want to show you right now with the layer panel is you could actually sort differently. Okay, that's not the last thing, but you can sort the type of object or elements you have within your layer panel. When you click on the text, it shows you only those elements that are text. If you click on the adjustment layers, of course we don't have any adjustment layers, so let's add an adjustment layer. Like, for example, we want to adjust the levels. You can just adjust the level, and once you adjust the levels and you select the adjustment layers, it shows you the adjustment layers that are available. And if you check the text layer, you can actually sort them with the text, and there you go, just the text is available. And then you can also check the vector shapes, and there you go, that's the only vector shape we have. And this is for smart objects. We don't have any smart object at the moment, but of course you can, you know what it means, you can actually check and sort the different kind of files you have. You can also sort them according to their names, their effects, their mode, the outboard, and all of that. So that's basically what you can do from here. And you can also go ahead to, from here, delete by simply clicking on the delete button, and it deletes whatever layer it is. You can come here and undo. You can come and add a new layer, a new empty layer with this icon. You can group layers. For example, you select different layers. You can group them by simply clicking on this icon, and you have them in a particular group. And once they are grouped, you can modify them differently. You can mask them. You can create adjustment layers for them specifically. You can add layer styles to them also. So let's say we want to add a drop shadow or an outer glow. So you can add an outer glow or a drop shadow, and you see it adds to everything within the group. Okay, so that's the advantage of grouping. So let's say you have an action or a modification you intend to do for a group, you can do that. You can also mask, like I said, and several other things from here. You can do them for a group. And then beyond that, you can also work on the opacity of a group and do a lot of things for a particular group. And so that is it for the layer panel. From here you can actually lock You can lock, you can decide to lock, and do several other modifications if you will. You can also change the feel of a particular layer. So let's work on the group. We can change the feel. Feel works like opacity, but basically it works more with the color. Okay, while the opacity changes the general visibility characteristic of the very layer you're trying to work on. So that is it for the layer panel. I expect you to take your time and practice. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next class.